So we are going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are on episode 9 of this series, and in the last episode we saw some notable events happen. Like we took our eyes over. We took them over to China and we saw we just looked at the whole Holy Chinese Empire. Pretty much a bunch of states that don't really have full control over any one of them, but they all want to control China. We saw an alliance be created between the Germanic team and the Italians, as well as new countries forming like up over in Finland. And at the very end of the episode, I hinted at some stuff happening to Rome. But anyways, if you guys are enjoying this series, make sure to like and subscribe. We are on the road to 3,500 subscribers. If we do get there by the end of the year, kind of unlikely, but if we do, I will release a tutorial series on how to map like Ada's Pro, like me, like Olsen, and just many other creators. It will go over how to install the application, how to use the application, how to make thumbnails, how to edit, and how to publish the videos. So make sure to like and subscribe if you do want a video like that. But anyways, enough yapping, and let's get to the cracking. So why don't we start up over inside of Scandinavia? We kind of were over here for a little bit in the last episode, but the new Finnish kingdom, or the dictatorship of Finland, they're going to be expanding. So what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and start to explore into some areas down over into the northern area of Estonia. They get down here, they explore down a little bit. They don't go all the way down here because, well, they don't know this is connected. But we also see them exploring up north just a little bit. It's not a lot, but they do kind of start to form a spearhead up towards the Arctic. We see the Finnish expanding down into this Petersburg area. And we also see them make a landing inside of the northern part of Estonia. Moving just over to Sweden, we actually see them making a discovery of these two Estonian islands, in which they send settlements out, and eventually these two islands are going to be conquered, or I guess settled, by the Swedish. We also start to see the Swedish start to move around the Irish, that way they can't make any more of a colony. But that isn't really going to be an issue, because we see major areas of Finland go ahead and rebel away from the Irish. The most populated city inside of this Norwegian colony, or right here, what the heck was that? But it is right here, and it is automatically underneath the control of this rebellion, which will very quickly lead to a very quick expansion throughout this Norwegian colony. And eventually it's all going to fall over to the Norwegian rebellion. And eventually we see the Norwegian country become a thing. I'm going to make it a dark red color. That major settlement is going to become their major city, which will then become their capital city. And we immediately start to see the Norwegians start to compete with the Swedish. They very quickly catch on to what the Swedish could be doing, and that's taking land away from them. So they're trying to get as far north as possible so that way they can continue getting good enough resources. I mean, they don't know about the oil that's like here yet. But they get up to about here before they stop and head back to their capital city. Sweden is kind of shocked that this just happened, but whatever. Now let's head over to China. And the red team, which is probably the second strongest of these Chinese countries, they've just started an invasion into the green one. This is because they have countless exclaves out over inside of the green team. And we kind of see some crusade-like stuff happening over here. We see a spearhead take place, which goes really well connecting up with the purple team. Eventually, we see this little exclave split off and form its own country. The red team, they're just going to let it be and continuing to invade the green team. Catching on, the blue team is going to go ahead and invade a little bit, just so that way they don't get completely cut off, just in case ever of a red team invasion. But the war has ended, and we can look at a peace treaty. The red team has just expanded quite a bit, almost fully annexing the green team. Who knows how well this is going to turn out for the red team. But the green team is technically still here. They're just this little tiny state, which they're traumatized, and they're very quickly going to start to expand into this unclaimed land over here. We also start to see this dark blue team do the same, expanding up and connecting up with their colony, or exclave. I don't know why I said colony. But the HCE is going crazy still. But now we see a new country joining up inside of the Circle Alliance. Now these guys, they just formed this alliance recently, and they're already getting a new member, and that is actually going to be Carthage. Now, why does Carthage join up with this alliance? Well, that's going to be explained at a later date. But this is the first alliance with 3 members in it. Well, that is until Ukraine decides to join up in this square alliance. These 3 have had close relations for quite a long time. I mean, the Anatolians and the Greeks were the ones who discovered the Ukrainians, and they formed a pretty good relationship. But this isn't the only thing we're going to see on the alliance layer. We actually see a defensive pact being created. And this defensive pact is going to be between the yellow team and the purple team. Now, defensive pacts, they're going to be marked by a blue shape. And these guys, they share a pretty close relationship throughout all of history. They used to be a part of that same group that ran away from the Egyptians. And this isn't an alliance, this is just a defensive pact between these 2. You know, just in case the red team ever tries something again. But that is it for alliances. As if we move north a little bit, we see the Germanics and the Italians getting very close to sharing a border. And in fact, they go ahead and complete that border. Let me go ahead and make this border look a little better. Now, these 2 now have sufficient goods going between the 2 countries. And this is the moment where Northern Europe or Western Europe up here is connected to the Mediterranean. It was kind of already through the Iberian country, but now a sufficient trading, like the start of a trading empire has just started between the Nordic countries, the British countries, the Germans, and the Africans, the Greeks, the Anatolians, even the Mesopotamians to an extent. Pretty big news for Europe, and even bigger news for India. Now, if you're wondering what's happened, during the Egyptian civil war, there's a group that ran away, kind of like what these guys did over here. Most of the people decided to settle over inside of Mesopotamia, but there was a group that decided to march east. And that group has just ended up in India. So we see the Indian nation born. And these guys have a fairly good settlement right here inside of India. But now, Jesus, W voice crack. We can get to the end of this episode, the one that is going to end the one that is going to set up the end for the tribal age. Yeah, these first 10 episodes or so, it has been known as the tribal age. And the beginning of the end of the tribal age starts now. Corsica and Sardinia, kind of colonies of Rome, go ahead and declare their independence for the second time in history. Provinces inside of southern Italy go ahead and declare their independence. Carthage makes a landing inside of the southern part of Sicily. And the plan that has been brewing since the creation of the Circle Alliance is initiated the plan to take out Rome. Forces that from the union of Italian tribes enter into the Roman territory, as they have supplied many rebellious groups across Italy or across Rome. And this officially brings the start to the Tribal War or the First Punic War. More people call it the Tribal War than the Punic War because, well, it could just be called the Punic War because, Carthage, Rome. But the Tribal War stands for the United Tribes of Italy and the United Tribes of Germany declaring war on Rome. In the next episode, expect to see a lot of fighting over inside of the Mediterranean. But that is going to do it for this episode. If you guys did end up enjoying it, please make sure to like and subscribe as we're trying to get to 3,500 subscribers. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.